rode across the silver screen. The ones that rode with Roy and all of the boys that rode Rangers, Tex and Jean. Whatever happened to the yodeling cowgirls? 'Cause I'm too young to know if they can still be found. I bet they come down and put us on a yodeling show, and they go yodel-o-dee-dee, yodel-a-dee, yodel-o-dee, yodel-o-dee, whatever happened to the yodeling cowgirls? The ones that used to dress so cute, fringe hanging down, rhinestones around, and multicolored cowboy boots. Whatever happened to the yodeling cowgirls? There must be at least some left, but until I find the one, I'm gonna have some fun and do the yodeling myself. Yodel-o-dee-dee, yodel-a-dee, yodel-o-dee, yodel-o-dee, I'm an old cowhand from the Rio Grande, and my legs ain't bone, and my cheeks ain't tan. I'm a cowgirl who never saw a cow, never rode steer 'cause I don't know how. Sure ain't fixin' to start it now. Yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay. I'm an old cowhand from the Rio Grande, and I learned to ride before I could stand. I'm alright and cool, who's up to date. Know every trade in the Lone State. Ride the range in my Ford V8. Yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay. I'm an old cowhand from the Rio Grande, and I come to town just to hear the band. I know all the songs that the cowboys know about the big corral where the doggies go. Learn all on the radio. Yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay. Yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay. Yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay.
My grandpa was a horse trader and cowboy his whole life, and when he was out gathering cattle, he'd sing a lot of the old classics, and he has a big influence on the pieces of poetry I choose, and this was one of his favorites, Siri Peats by Gail Gardner. Away up high in the Siri Peats, where the yellowjack pines grow tall, old Sandy Bobs and Buster Jiggs had a roundup camp last fall. Now they'd taken their horses, their running irons, and maybe a dog or two, and lows they'd brand every long-eared calf that came within their view. And any old dogie that flapped long ears and didn't brush up by day got his long ears whittled and his old hide scorched in the most artistic way. Now one fine day old Sandy Bobs threw his Seago down and said, "I'm sick and tired of the smell of burning hair, and lows I'm going to town." So they saddles up and hitched 'em a lope, for there weren't no sign of a ride, And back then was them days when an old buckaroo could really oil up his inside. So he starts her off at Kentucky Bar at the head of Whiskey Row and winds up down at the Depot House, some 40 drinks below. Then they sets her up, turns her around, and goes the other way. And to tell you the God-forsaken truth, them boys got stewed that day. As they was a-riding back to camp, packing a pretty good load, who should they meet but the devil himself, prancing down the road. Says he, "You ornery cowboy skunks, you better hunt your holes, for I've come up from Hell's Rim Rock to gather in your souls." Sandy Bob says, "Well, devil be damned, we boys is kinda tight, but you ain't gonna get no cowboy souls without some kind of a fight." So he punched a hole in his loop, and he swung her straight and true. He lapped it on the devil's horns, and he'd taken his dollies too. Now Buster Jiggs was a riata man, with his gut line coiled up neat. So he shakens her out, builds him a loop, and he lashed the devil's hind feet. They stretched him out and tailed him down, while the irons was getting hot. They cropped and swallowed forked both ears, and they branded him up a lot. They pruned him up with a dehorning saw, and knotted his tail for a joke. Then they just rode off and left him there, neck to a blackjack oak. So if you're ever way up high in the Siri Peaks, and you hear one hell of a wail, you know it's that devil a-bellerin' about them knots tied in his tail.
Woo!
Thank you. While Johnny Cash may have wrote this song several years ago, I see it having more and more relevance to today. And with me being a lot younger, I am very strong in my beliefs for standing for our flag and our country. And I love to do this poem for all the men and women who have ever served or protected our country. Ragged Old Flag. I walked through a country courthouse square. On a park bench, an old man was sitting there. "Your old flagpole's kinda run down," I said. "Your old courthouse is kinda run down," I said. He said, "Nah, it'll do fine for our little town. Your flagpole's leaned a bit, and that's a ragged old flag you got hanging on it." He said, "Have a seat." I sat down. "Is this your first time in our little town?" I said, "I think it is." He said, "Well, I hate to brag, but we're kinda proud of that ragged old flag. You see it got a hole in it there when Washington took it across the Delaware. And it got powder burned the night Francis Scott Key sat watching, writing the words, 'Oh, say, can you see?' And it got a bad rip back in New Orleans with Packingham and Jackson tugging at its seams. And she almost fell at the Alamo with the Texas flag, but she waved on through. She got cut with a sword at Chancellorsville, and then again at Shiloh Hill. Robert E. Lee, Beauregard, and Bragg, the south wind blew hard on that ragged old flag. On Flanders Field in World War I, she got shot with a Bertha gun. She turned blood red in World War II, and she's hung limp and low a time or two. She was in Korea and Vietnam. She went where she was sent by her Uncle Sam. She waved on the ships of the briny foam, and now they've just about quit waving her back here at home. In her own good land, she's been abused, burned, dishonored, disobeyed, and refused. And the government for which she stands has been scandalized throughout the land. She's getting threadbare and she's wearing thin, but she's in good shape for the shape she's in, 'cause she's been through the fire before, and I believe she can take a whole lot more. So we raise her up each morning and we bring her down each night. We don't let her touch the ground, and we fold her upright. So on second thought, I do like to brag, 'cause I'm mighty proud of that ragged old flag.
Woo! Woo!
Over the last couple years, I've been working on writing a lot of songs, and I've done a few co-writes, and I'll be singing a lot of those tonight, and I hope you all enjoy them. This first one is called You Gotta Earn Your Spurs. You gotta earn your spurs when you saddle up. You gotta show your stuff and never give up. You gotta climb back on when life throws you a curve. It ain't always easy. You gotta earn your spurs. When you sit that bronc inside that chute, well, you better be ready when they turn you loose. Well, you might fly high, you might hit the dirt. It's how you get back up. You gotta earn your spurs. You gotta earn your spurs when you saddle up. You gotta show your stuff and never give up. You gotta climb back on when life throws you a curve. It ain't always easy. You gotta earn your spurs. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes the trail ain't the one you choose. When the going gets tough, don't lose your nerve. Just hold on tight. You gotta earn your spurs. You gotta earn your spurs when you saddle up. You gotta show your stuff and never give up. You gotta climb back on when life throws you a curve. It ain't always easy. You gotta earn your spurs. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Those legendary stories inspire the young hearts. We've all got heroes, but they're once heroes. Each life lesson made them a legend. So use it or lose it. You gotta earn your spurs. You gotta earn your spurs when you saddle up. You gotta show your stuff and never give up. You gotta climb back on when life throws you a curve. It ain't always easy. You gotta earn your spurs. No, it ain't easy when you're earning your spurs.
Woo-hoo!
This next one is called Cinderella Cowgirl. Well, she traded her glass slippers for a pair of cowboy boots. She's wearing faded blue jeans and a brand new pearl snap shirt. She got tired of her crown, getting tangled in her hair. Now she wears a Stetson hat as she saddles up her mare. Cinderella's no white cowgirl. It happened by surprise. One day she was dreaming of a simple, happy life. The balls and the banquets couldn't fill her heart inside. But she found what she was looking for when she took her first ride. Well, her prince became a cowboy, and he's roping up some steers. As and they watch the setting sun, sipping cold homemade root beers from the front porch of their cabin, way out far from town. She's so happy that she traded in her Cinderella gown. Cinderella's now a cowgirl, it happened by surprise. One day she was dreaming of a simple happy life. The balls and the banquets couldn't fill her heart inside, but she found what she was looking for when she took her first ride. Now she rides a covered wagon, no pumpkins anymore. Instead of doing waltzes, she two steps across the floor. She's no longer a princess, she's a cowgirl through and through, but you can still hear her singing, bippity boppity boo. Cinderella's now a cowgirl, it happened by surprise. One day she was dreaming of a simple happy life. The balls and the banquets couldn't fill her heart inside, but she found what she was looking for when she took her first ride. She found what she was dreaming of when she took her first ride. Thank you.
This song's called When You're... Wow. I didn't see that coming. Well, I think it's on now. This song's called When You're Blue Just Yodel by Yodeling Slim Clark. Oh, I know a lot of people who worry night and day. I'll tell you folks, don't worry, cause really it don't pay. It'll take your wealth, it'll ruin your health, it'll make you look a fright. I know a cure for those of blue to make you feel alright. All I gotta do is when you're feeling blues, yodel, yodel, hey, hey, yodel, dee. All I gotta say is drive the blues away, hey, yodel, yodel, hey, dee. When the days are dark and dreary and everything seems wrong, cheer up, yodel boy, the day won't be so long. Be like a Swiss and never miss, just yodel loud and high. When you're done, you'll find a twinkle in your eye. All I gotta do is when you're feeling blues, yodel, yodel, hey, hey, yodel, dee. All I gotta say is drive the blues away, hey, yodel, yodel, hey, dee. Oh, I haven't got a nickel, but I'm happy all the time. When I'm blue, just yodel boy, it keeps me feeling fine. Take my advice and see how nice it is to fret no more. When you're done, you'll find the sunshine in your door. All I gotta do is when you're feeling blue, I just love it, hey, I just love it. All I gotta say, hey, hey, drive the blues away, hey, hey, I just love it, 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 hey, I just love it. I love it, hey, I love it, hey, I love it, hey. All I gotta do is when you're feeling blues, I love it, hey, I love it. All I gotta say, hey, hey, I drive the blues away, hey, hey, I love it, lady. Thank you. This song's called Colorado Trail. Ride through those lonely nights, ride through the day, keep the herd moving on its way. We boy through the rains, wild winds wail, all along the Colorado Trail.
a ranch I've been working for these past few weeks. They have some truly amazing cow dogs, and when they're working, they're just really fun to watch how well trained they are. But my grandpa always had a rule that if you had one dog, you had one good dog, and if you had two dogs, you had two bad dogs. And I guess we should have listened to him, because we have two dogs at our house, and they're not good for much other than eating dog food. But this poem reminded me of that. Cow Dogs by Ed Brown. Now some cow dogs have pedigrees, and others claim to fame, but here a cow dog gets two things, a whipping and a name. And we don't just give 'em a name from a book upon the shelves. We use 'em, and if they stay around a while, we let 'em name themselves. Now Lucky got his easily. I never really liked the sound, but he just hopped in the pickup while I was at the pound. And Romeo, he's not too much to show. His usefulness is slim, but all the pups from miles around look exactly like him. How old Screech got his name? I bet I beat you to it. It's the sound the fence makes when he's running cattle through it. And now with Henri's disposition, you'd not give him half a chance. But he does come in pretty handy, keeping salesmen off the ranch. Now some names we've bestowed don't need much explanation. Meter maid marks the tires, Lazy's on vacation. Backhoe fills the yard with holes, Nixon covers them up. Welfare hasn't done a thing since she was just a pup. Buzzard eats the darndest things, and Leppy's mother never claimed him. If we had a dog that could work cows, we wouldn't know what to name them. Thank you. Being around a lot of cowboys throughout my life, you won't see them in church every Sunday, but when they're out riding, they definitely have their time with God, and I found that in this poem, Horseback Religion by Ray Fitzgerald. Now a cowboy makes his living a horseback, and most Sundays he's on the range. Now to the preachers and the deacons, this may sound a little strange, but he never misses a chance to worship just 'cause he's not in town. God built the land he works on, and he sees him all around. When the snow starts to melt in the spring, and the grass starts coming along, it renews cowboy spirit, like night gives way to dawn. He looks out over his horse's ears, and watches the sun come up. God's building a new day around him, and it sure enough fills his cup. There's wildlife all around him, all following nature's course. No man lives closer to God than one who does it on a horse. Now a cowboy's wild and reckless, and may not always stop to count the cost, but he knows his maker better than some who think he's lost. A good cowboy won't mistreat a horse or let his company down. He won't lie about what he's done, but he may jar loose when he's in town. But he'll ask the Lord's forgiveness just the same as all the rest, then rope his mourning horse and try to do his best. A top hand will ask no favors. He takes the good right with the bad, 'cause he knows he will never face anything as tough as the Savior has. He works in constant danger and takes chances every day, but God is right there with him as he shows and lights the way. Now I've been pinned down under snaky broncs with no one around to lend a hand, and come out just scratched and bruised, so I knew that God was in command. I've watched wild horses a-running with an old mare out there in the lead, and my throat gets tight and my heart beats fast as God fills my special need. You can't stack money high enough to do what God has done for me when he made me a buckaroo and sent his son to set me free. So as I ride through God's country with his handiwork all in view, my old Hamley saddle makes a plumb good cowboy pew. So now as I work cows here on earth, I am never at loss for the day I make that final roundup where Christ is wagon boss.
Well, this next one I'm going to sing is called Wild Horses. Wild horses, free like the wind, wish they could tell us where they have been. Pushed by the weather, smell of the wolves, strong hearts, pounding hooves. Storm clouds are brewing, the wind is raging, temperatures are dropping, and the snow is falling. They gotta find shelter before the day ends. The day's growing darker, the night's closing in. Wild horses, free like the wind, wish they could tell us where they have been. Pushed by the weather, smell of the wolves, strong hearts, pounding hooves. They find a canyon, while sleeping high, to shelter from the angry sky. The dawn will come, the storm will pass, the snow will stop, the wind won't last. See them run, see them fly. Wild horses, free like the wind, wish they could tell us where they have been. Pushed by the weather, smell of the wolves, strong hearts, pounding hooves. Thank you all. This next one is called Toughest Cowboy in Town. He's the toughest cowboy in town. All the little girls get silly when he comes around. He's out there chasing bad guys round the town, roping and running till the sun goes down. He's the toughest cowboy, the toughest cowboy, the toughest cowboy in town. Well, he's riding his pony, he dreams of the day he can wear a star badge like his dad wears today. He knows being a sheriff is a tough role to play, but he'll make his daddy proud. He'll be the toughest cowboy around. He's the toughest cowboy in town. People tip their hats to him when he comes around. He's still out there chasing bad guys round the town, keeping the peace when the sun goes down. He's the toughest cowboy, the toughest cowboy, the toughest cowboy in town. Well, the day finally came to order his badge, but before he could do it, his daddy gave him his. He said, "It's our tradition we pass on to our children. His badge was my father's and his before him. Spinning town. All those little girls will get silly when he comes around. He'll be out there chasing bad guys round the town, romping and running till the sun goes down. He'll be the toughest cowboy, the toughest cowboy, the toughest cowboy in town.
Give me land, lots of land under starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. I wanna be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me out forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in, just turn me loose. Let me shadow by a saddle underneath the western sky. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I wanna ride through the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in, just turn me loose. Let me shadow by a saddle underneath the western sky. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I wanna ride through the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. I can't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in.
Nice.
Thank you. This song's called Cowboy Hat. We live in a world where so many boys and girls lost sight of who they really are. In the eye of the horse, you're looking into a mirror image looking back at you. Eyes are the window to the soul. In the eye of the horse, you will find your own. I live a simple life, work hard, wear a cowboy hat. I come from a time where cowboy song don't mean very much to some, but there ain't nothing funny about a good riding speckled pony, and that's what makes my world go round. I don't care about what some folks talk about, no, my world is smaller than all that. I live a simple life, work hard, wear a cowboy hat. It's easier said than done, but that's how the West is won. Moving on the folklore of the old. It's Tennessee, it's tried and true, work best for me and you. Some call it the cowboy code. I live a simple life, work hard, wear a cowboy hat. When life gets a little crazy and things get a little hazy, not sure exactly how you feel, just jump up on that Suki hide, take yourself a little ride, put in perspective what is really meaningful to the brand. Always ride with grip and set, keeping your eye on the trail. I live a simple life, work hard, wear a cowboy hat. Just live a simple life, work hard, wear a cowboy hat. Thank you so much.
All right, I've got another dog poem for you guys. Mad Jack's Dog. It was a short and squatty cabin, thick dirt roof and round corral. From a distance, it looked quite interesting. So I decided I'd stop and rest my horse a spell. From around the corner of the cabin came a wild-eyed old-timer who said his name was Mad Jack Hanks. I shook his hand, told him my name. He said he'd been up there trapping beaver and had the lonesome news. Pretty soon he offered bed and breakfast if I would share the latest news. Well, I agreed to his proposal. He seemed glad to have me stay. He started rustling up some tableware while I put my horse away. He had some dinner going, so I carried in a load of wood. I shared the latest news, and things was going good, till I reached down to pet his dang dog. I truly meant no harm, but before you knew it, that old wolf had bit me on the arm. Mad Jack, I said, why does your dog just stare at me with hate? He said, oh, it's nothing. He's just mad 'cause you're eating off his plate. Thank you. I'm sure anyone who has ever owned horses for any period of time has just had that one great horse that they could never get rid of, and this is what that poem's about. This One Ain't For Sale by Kenyon Barrett. The smells of a fresh morning dew, tales of a day young and new. As the sun begins to glow over the mountain peaks, there's a soothing sound as my saddle creaks. Swaying at the pace of a good long trot, sure is the ideal spot to enter in deep thought of past times, good and bad, all the fun, love, and pain that's been had. Reflection of a life gone by, staring back at you through that old horse's eye. You've been together through heaven and hell. If he could only talk, my oh my, the tales he'd tell. From chasing mavericks through thick brush, from Arizona to Big Bend, to starting a string of big Montana colts, hell-bent against being broke in. Every wreck that you shouldn't have survived are all the more reason to thank him for being alive. You've learned from him more than anything that could ever be found in a book, an education set on foundation that will never be shook. Lessons that will stick with you until you are in that shallow grave, feeling a fire full of passion and crave. A life empty of this horse would surely be cause for great remorse. Now there's a saying that I've heard lots, never trust a horse with 4 white socks. But there's an exception to every rule I know, and this good booger of a bay is the one I use to show that a good cow pony can be found in every color, shape, and form around. And so you ask, son, what's this horse's price? I shall quickly reply, by golly, this bay is too nice. What? By golly, this bay is too nice. He will stay in my cavy until that dismal day that this big bay finally passes away. Why other hands may whine, cry, and wail, to them all I will carry on this prevail. Boys, this one just ain't for sale. Thank you.
This one is called One Heck of a Ride. Hear that rumbling thunder as it goes across the sky and spooks the wild horses ain't been roped a day in their life. See the cowboys coming, ropes and pistols by their side to catch those wild ponies. It's gonna be one heck of a ride. There's paints and palominos, Appaloosas, bays and roans. They're running from the cowboys who'd steal them from their home. The canyon floor is shaking. They're running for their lives. The sky's growing darker. It's gonna be one heck of a ride. Spurs are digging deeper, and that herd is running wild. But those canyon walls are closing. It's gonna be one heck of a ride. The cowboys' mounts are flying, strong and flapped with foam. The wild herd is racing through the land that they have roamed. Lightning's dancing to the thunder all across the sky. Feel the wind, hear the rumble. It's gonna be one heck of a ride. Spurs are digging deeper, and that herd is running wild. Up ahead, they still smell freedom. It's gonna be one heck of a ride. Thank you all. This next one is about my great-great-grandpa. His name was Joe Beard. I was going through an old book of pictures from the past. My family passed them down to me so the memories would last. I came across a young man on horseback, sword in stock. Had a look there in his eye, solid as a rock. Mom said he drove a team of oxen, hauling timber to his friends. They settled Teton Valley along River's Bend. Hollywood discovered him, his team of wagons for their films. When I watch him, if I look real hard, I think I still see him. Look at Joe Beard's pictures, I can almost smell the sage. I dream about the life he lived every time I turn a page. I wonder what he thought about, and I wish that he could see the legacy he left behind and how much he means to me. His sweet wife, Lila, pretty as a yellow rose, saddled up for life with him when she was 15 years old. She was a black-haired beauty so long. And Grandpa drove his pictures, telling thousand tales about the kind of man he was when he rode life's trails. I wonder what he thought about, and I wish he could see the legacy he left behind and how much he means to me.
Take a break.
Yes, sir.
Me?
Everybody.
Everybody? Okay.
Not at the same time.
This song is called If I Can Only Learn to Yodel. I'm thinking tonight while the moon shining bright of the boy that I adore, but he won't have me, that is plain to see, and it hurts me more and more. He says he's in love with the yodeling gal from the hills of Tennessee, and she won his heart with the if I could only learn to yodel and lay. It's easy, they say, to go yodel, yeah, with the yodeling. That little old shack that's calling me back to the place where I belong. But I must admit that it just won't fit with that boy that's done me wrong. So I'm packing my grip and I'll be on my way to the land that's calling me. And she won his heart with the yodelody, yodelody, yodelody. If I could only learn to yodel and lay. It's easy, they say, to go yodel with the yodelady, yodelody. It's easy, they say, to go yodel with the yodelady, yodelody.
So yesterday we got some sad news that Baxter Black, one of the greatest and most known cowboy poets, passed away. And while I never got the chance to meet Baxter, I'd like to do this poem that he wrote in memory of him. Goodbye, old man. Somewhere deep in the old man's eyes, a memory took a hold. It fought the ageless undertow that drains and mocks the old. I wiped a dribble off his chin. Pops, tell me what you see. It's all the boys I rode with. I think they've come for me. Unconsciously, I checked the door. It's nothing but the wind. You better try and get some rest. Tomorrow we'll go in. Is that you, Bob? I can't quite tell. You're mounted mighty well. You never rode a horse that good when we were raising hell. Lie down, old man. There's no one here. No, wait. That looks like Clyde. He helped me put old Blue to sleep. Why, heck, he even cried. Now don't forget to check the salt. Them cows will drift back down. Well, I'll be darned. There's Augustine. He worked here on the Brown when I hired on to Buckaroo, but that's been 50 years. The old man blinked a misty eye. I dabbed away the tears. The boss had told me that he was old, had seen a lot of springs. I bet you if you peeled his bark, you'd count near 80 rings. And we'd rode the last 3 summers, here together on the rim, just he and I, for puncher's pay, and I'd learned a lot from him. But now I'm sitting here by his bed, uncertain what to do. I ain't no good at nursing coots. Why heck, I'm only 22. Well, I reckon that I'm ready now. My friends are set to go. They've got an extra mount cut out. That's just for me, I know. You've got to stop this foolish talk. You shouldn't overdo. Pops, all you need is a good night's sleep. Tomorrow you'll be good as new. Don't make it complicated, kid. Cut a pal some slack. The saddle on that extra horse, that's my old weathered cack. I'm coming, Bob. I'll be right there. The old man winked a misty eye, then tried to reach up for his hat, but then died without a sigh. I'll tell you, man, it freaked me out. I dang near came in two. I'd never watched a person die, especially when I knew. I tried to say a little prayer, but all I knew was grace, so I just said, "Goodbye, old man," and covered up his face. I poured myself the bitter dregs and stood out on the step. Alone, I listened to the night, as still as death, except I thought that I could hear, over the coffee a-sloshing in my cup, the far-off, easy, pleasured sound of old friends a-catching up.
Well, this one is called Legends Untold. There are a lot of legends that are known out there in the world, but there are also a lot that don't get mentioned. This one I wrote about the ones who don't get mentioned. Exactly why it's called Legends Untold. Maybe I'll tear you up. I don't know if I can sing this now. I never did get to meet Bax Black either. I thought he was probably one of my favorites and stuff, besides a few others that I know. And he's pretty cool. He's definitely a hero. We all know some heroes from the past, but there are stories that were written down to last. Forgotten history of the men who've died, protecting something they thought was right. Their names disappear on the wind, their life stories forgotten. Nothing left behind but a nameless gravestone. Now they are ghosts, they are legends untold. The men on ships out at sea, fighting to keep us all free. The men at the front of the lines who died for the ones who came behind. Their names disappear on the wind, their life stories forgotten. Nothing left behind but a nameless gravestone. Now they are ghosts, they're legends untold. Even those cowboys who lived on their own, who died by arrows, bullets, or the unknown. And the brave Indians were shot down over nothing. of pride, defending their families and homes. Their names disappear on the wind, their life stories forgotten. Nothing left behind but a nameless gravestone. Now they are ghosts, their legends untold. Yeah, nothing left behind but a nameless gravestone. Now we are ghosts, forever legends unknown.
We're gonna take about a